Hey, what's up guys? This is Gabriel Santos from gfsantos.com, also the author of the ebook Marijuana Mindfulness, How to Transcend the Addiction Cycle and Gain Ultimate Self-Control, which you can find on Amazon for about $10 right now. It will likely go on sale soon, and if you message me, I may give you a discounted price. Anyway, so today's video comes from a question from one of our viewers. His channel name is called Kyle Phillips. Hey Kyle, what's good? And his situation is that he's a couple days into quote-unquote quitting, but he's very much interested in using weed in moderation down the line. And his question is, at what point do I recommend he try weed again in moderation, as well as when he shouldn't do weed, apparently. I think that's the question. First of all, Kyle, good stuff on really taking that step forward and seeing that it's in your best interest and others' best interest around you that you really don't smoke weed at this time, and that you really gain self-control over it. Okay. As far as your question goes, I'll answer it from my own experience, because there is no right or wrong way. There is no right answer. There's ultimately only what will work for you. And the only way, from my experience, you'll discover what works for you is if you try things. And the first message I want you to get is that what works for you is not what works for you. So don't get attached to, if you try out a certain method that I share and it doesn't work for you, that you're a failure. No. If what I share with you doesn't work for you, it simply doesn't work for you, okay? But my overall advice is to figure out what does work for you. Personally, I took 8 months off from smoking weed. And in fact, my intention wasn't to become a moderation smoker. My intention was to quit. But after 8 months of not smoking, which was the longest period of no smoking I had ever gone in my life, after I had first started smoking weed, after those 8 months, when I did decide to smoke again, I actually went through 2 months of going back to that negative spiral loop of smoking. But it occurred to me that, look, if I can go 8 months without smoking, that means I have full control over my ability to smoke weed. And not even just because, but if I can go 8 months of being productive and empowering and growing and awesome, then that doesn't change just because I've smoked weed again, right? And so I had this breakthrough moment where it's oh my God, I'm the one that, when I go back to weed, it is up to me how it goes. Okay, so that's the first part. The second part is, personally, I recommend that you don't do weed until you are 100% confident that you can say no and yes on command. And the reason why that's important is because I know with full certainty that if I say I'm not going to smoke tomorrow, I don't smoke. It just doesn't happen, because I'm 100% certain in myself. And that will likely only happen after you've trained yourself to follow through on what you say. So, and the beautiful thing is, for 8 months, I trained myself to say no, right? So just like you're doing right now, you're a couple days into training yourself to follow through on saying no, okay? So just keep doing that, keep doing that, keep doing that, keep doing that. And when you finally personally decide that you want to smoke weed again, the same rules apply. If you smoke weed and you say, I'm just going to smoke weed today and I'm not going to smoke weed for another week, you must follow through. Must follow through. The sense of guilt and shame comes from when we don't follow through. Okay? And in a beautiful way, when I say I'm going to smoke weed, I do it. I follow through, and it feels great. When I say I'm not going to smoke weed, I don't smoke weed, and I follow through, and I feel good. When I don't follow through on my yes or no plans, that's where things go wrong. Okay? So, similarly for your second question, when should you not do it? You are the only one that can discover that for yourself. Personally, for myself, I discovered through trial and error that doing weed, even just to relieve stress, don't work for me. The only time weed seems to work for me is when it is in alignment with my own self-growth. okay? And so lately what that looks like is after I've accomplished my big goal for that month or that week or whatever, and I set this up pre-hand, it's almost like a contract. I say, look, when I finish this goal, I get to smoke. And I don't do it for the little shit. I only do it for the big shit, because the big shit is the stuff that I really want most, and that's the hardest to do. It requires the most time and energy. And if I get fucking stoned every day, I don't have the energy to really go for those goals. And so I use the energy when I'm not being stoned every day to go after those goals. And then when I accomplish it, just like when a professional athlete wins a championship, they smoke a cigar, and they party. Well, I smoke weed, okay? And what I'm actually considering right now is that when I do accomplish goals, that I don't necessarily have to smoke, but what I do is I earn like a smoking token that I can save and I can use because I earned it. You get what I'm saying? So personally, I don't smoke any other time, or rather, okay, I'm not perfect because I have broken my word before, and I've learned the hard way that doesn't work, okay? But what works for me is when I do what I say I'm gonna do and I accomplish my goals, I get to smoke. That's just what worked for me. Like, for example, when I first created this system, my promise to myself was that I will smoke again when I will earn the right to smoke when I make my first dollar of passive income. Because I've always had making passive income on the goals list, but I never did it for years. And then, ironically, I wrote my book, which took me about 2 weeks to make. And I earned my first passive dollar like within 2 days of releasing it to the world. And I smoked weed. It was fantastic. It was the most ironic thing ever. Anyways, so I hope that helped you out. I hope that helped out many of you that watch this video when it's first uploaded, as well as the people who watch this video like 17 years from now. All right. Yeah, Kyle Phillips. I hope this helped you. To the rest of y'all, I hope this helped you. Have a good day. Have a good life. There's more to life than weed. It's possible to get high on life without weed. And weed is awesome. Unless you use it in a negative way. Go after your dreams. And I'll see you next video. Peace!